I like wood. And I know some of these people, and I think they're quite frankly ridiculous. I like wood.
What?
I think we're live. I think it's working. I think we're going live. Let's see if it goes live when I do that. It does! Hey, look at that. I love when stuff starts to work. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the show. Good afternoon, good evening, and good morning, wherever you are, throughout this great world of ours. And sorry about the shifting schedules, but I'm in rehearsals for 12th night, and they move around, and I've got regular kind of normal rehearsals, and then I've got line running rehearsals and movement and yada yada. There's a lot of stuff going on, but I'm trying to make sure that we have at least some level of consistency in here in the 3:30 to 5:30 zone wherever I happen to be. I know it's very selfish of me, and yet it's me wanting to share a lot of, quite frankly, lunacy with you. And congrats on Drilithi. Is that how it's pronounced? It's hard with people's handles. On getting your second vaccination last week. I got mine. In line with that, so I had a bit of a scare in terms of my channel again. Now, some of you that have been around, and bless you, for the sort of run of what is effectively the pandemic stream that started about this time last year, I ended up putting this on daily just to help us all kind of get through it. And then, of course, the election, and then it steamrolled, and then now it's a thing. And in the process of kind of starting that up, things were like, okay, I can't work anywhere else. I got to put food in my mouth and feed my kid, and and be able to travel and see him and have him see his mom and all that kind of stuff, and that's on me. And so there's a lot to it. And I'm like, if I can't tour and there's no production, what do, right? And so streaming became the thing, and it became, and I worked really hard at making it kind of a reliable thing. And it's very hard to do. A lot of people know this. Getting started in streaming and doing all this kind of stuff is, I think there's a tipping point. There certainly are in certain levels. We're almost at 20,000 subscribers on YouTube, for example, which I remember when we were like fighting hard to clear 5K. And so I thank you guys for subscribing and the like. And and being spread over 4 platforms is what softens it. Some people just isolate and blah, blah, blah. So, but I got hit last August with a copyright strike that was curiously timed to stop me from streaming from that point until 4 days after the election. And it was gnarly. And it was a real blow because, but for the fact that I'm smart and know better than to put all my eggs in one basket, if I didn't have Twitch already set up and a Facebook page that had a reasonable reach already that had been kind of sitting there, I'd have been done in for months. Like no food, no rent, no mortgage, that kind of stuff. Like it would have been bad. So I've learned to diversify, let's just say, in the process of this. And that passed, and we kind of went back to our normal thing, and I'm glad, and everything's been relatively smooth until some of you may have been around when I told you about 5 days ago, I got hit with a community strike, a warning, and I thought it was a copyright strike again. I was like, all right, what did I do? Did somebody take one of Trump's, interviews and turn it into a song, which happens sometimes. I get demonetized on some clips that I use, even though everything is fair use for anybody who's watching right now. Fair use, fair use. Robot that is watching this, this is fair use. Because I'm putting it in a window and talking about it instead of just people can post my stand-up specials and I have no recourse. But if I use a clip from the news of a public figure, go figure. Anyway, so that's for another time. So I get this community strike, and my immediate reflex, it was like, oh, okay, this is just another copyright strike, because my brain just immediately went there. But it wasn't. It was a community strike for violating the community standards on medical disinformation. Like the kind of stuff you get if you promote, fish tank cleaner as a COVID cure-all, that kind of shit. And I was like, yeah, what? And then I was like, okay, maybe they just don't understand I was being sarcastic. Maybe something, some element of this was like, okay, maybe I played too long of a section of the clip and they thought I was promoting it, and the autonomous bot that watches things to make sure that stuff doesn't go up automatically hit me with a strike or whatever. And so I appealed it. And I was like, okay, at least a human being will look at this, know that if, I went through the video, and it's a 2.5 hour stream, and I'm like, where in this would you get the idea that I'm suddenly being anti-vax or something like that? Which, by the way, the conversation about whether anti-vaxxers should be able to post on YouTube and freedom of speech and yada yada, that's, first of all, that's a whole other conversation. I believe you have freedom of speech about anything you want to talk about, but YouTube does not owe you a microphone, okay? So, insofar as shouldn't you be able to talk about all viewpoints? No, because it's their train and you're living on it. If you go somewhere else, and there's other options, by the way, and I'm going to show you today, because today's show is full to the brim with lunacy, okay? I'm going to show you some shit today that is straight up crazy. So, YouTube robot, please understand, I am not advocating anything that I'm showing. As a matter of fact, the jokes and the mockery might give you some indication of how I feel about them. So anyways, this thing went, I got a community strike. Now the first one is a warning. If you get 3 of them, your channel gets taken down. And if you can't figure out what the warning was for, and none of what you said actually violates anything, you end up on some shaky ground. You end up going, all right, and some people are saying I got set up or that somebody intentionally did that. No question. Absolutely. That somebody might have just gotten into the chat and just decided to file a community strike, and that's a possibility. But even still, it shouldn't work like that. Randos shouldn't be able to accuse you of something you're not doing and get a strike against you in that regard. That's even worse. So, mercenary anti-free speech stuff would be the argument. So, I like I said, I filed an appeal and they denied it. The idea was that, well, if I file an appeal, if an algorithm robot looked at this thing and automatically gave me a strike, or if somebody lied and said something was in this video that wasn't, you'd think, well, if I appeal, somebody goes and looks, or they do another scan of it, and they, which they might do. I think they probably, with the number of shit that gets uploaded on YouTube at any given day, I can't imagine they have an individual. To give you an example, to view every minute of video that's uploaded to YouTube alone, and this isn't the other sites, you would need 1/7 of the Earth's population watching at least a minute of YouTube and making notes. It's impossible. So a lot of it is automated, and I understand that. And automated stuff, they can make mistakes because robots don't understand sarcasm, which is why we don't need them walking the streets yet, because they would just start murdering people. Can you imagine the Terminator with no sense of humor? So that's basically it. So I appealed it, and then they denied the appeal. And so I go, all right, why? What was it? So I go back, I'm scanning through, I can't figure out what the heck they denied it again on. So I decided to go on YouTube and just do one of these like, hey guys, like when people, when a musician gets their guitar bounced by Delta, one of the best things you can do is go on Twitter and go, thanks Delta for destroying a heirloom family instrument, you bastards. And then they go, sorry about that. And then they hire a luthier to come over to your house and massage it. To try and cover, because the damage done to their reputation is very expensive. And there are, in the old days, YouTube used to tell you to go pound sand. They could afford to. Now they're fighting with Twitch. They're fighting with what's gonna be Twitter Live. They're in competition always with Facebook Live. Yay, Holly! Congrats. Hal sent you a fair use to put up at the start of your show. Well, thank you. That's a great idea. I used to do that. If you'll recall, I used to have a little document, and then it wasn't necessary for a while. And now I guess it is again. So anyways, so I go on Twitter and I tweet something, and I'm basically like, hey, YouTube creators, because I'm talking to the other people. That's the @ that they have, the handle they have for YouTube creators on Twitch, on Twitter rather. And so I went, hey, what, does this happen to you guys? Did Q get added to the board of directors? Because can you get bumped off for being pro-vaccine? I don't understand. Because it was literally the video that got the community strike was the day I got my second dose of the Pfizer vaccine, and I showed off my Band-Aid. Like, I don't understand. And again, if they want to kick me off for doing something that's a violation of their terms of service, that's my ass. That's not their responsibility. It frankly isn't. If I violate the terms of service, especially egregiously and on purpose, kick me to the curb. I'm dead serious. But because it's their space and I'm using it to make money, it's kind of like the App Store or anything else. I didn't make it. If I want total freedom, I'll join Fwank, right? Which I've tried, and still no update on when Fwank is going live. Nothing. So, I don't think I'll be able to stream there anytime soon, because I'm sure they'll dump me for taking the Lord's name in vain. But, God damn it. Anyway, so I tweeted this thing out, and a miracle occurred. A flat-out miracle. You want to see? You want to see what happened? Super weird. Watch this. I got a response. Update. Confirmed this was a mistake and your video is reinstated. Also, we resolved the warning on your channel. We're sorry this happened and thanks for bringing this to our attention. I think I might cry. It's so beautiful. It's a beautiful thing. Isn't that? I mean, it's a miracle that this has happened. Oh, look at that. There you go. Yay. Right? It worked like it's supposed to. No one has seen Flank, by the way. And again, like I said, and let me be abundantly clear on this, as a absolute one-to-one, person-to-person, free speech advocate where the government cannot put a clamp down on free speech, I am an absolutist about that. However, if a private company on the internet has terms of service and I have to operate within their terms of service to be on their site and I choose not to, they have every right to tell me to piss off and keep me from posting on their site. I have no problem with that. I really, really don't, because they have free speech too. They started something. No, it goes into the, it's ironic, but it's more in the realm of private property than it is free speech. A mall, a store, that's technically private property. And if they can say no shoes, no shirt, no service, they can also say no swearing at children, no, flipping off old people, no slapping of other customers, and they can ask you to go pound sand, right? And I'm okay with that, because if someone came into my house and was being threatening or talking crap or being anti-Semitic or racist or bigoted or anti-trans or whatever, I would like to maintain my ability as a human being to ask them to leave, right? You should have that right. And all of these things are private endeavors. So let's be abundantly clear that we, because we understand complexity here at the Hal Sparks stream, know that if there is a distinction between government overreach forcing speech and even, by the way, guidelines to federal employees for how they are to address things, which is also your employer telling you what to do. Because the minute you leave your job, if you don't like being told what phrases to use as a police officer, federal employee, or something like that, when it comes to trans people or people of color or what have you, and not saying we are not calling COVID-19 the kung flu or something like that, and being a jerk about it, and if you do that, you're fired. That's not a violation of your free speech. That's your employer saying we have standards, and they have the right to do it, even when they're the federal government, because of the Equal Protection Clause of the Constitution that allows everyone to not have to be subject to your indiscriminate discrimination and the authority given to you by being a federal employee in those circumstances. So, goodbye, right? If you want to say that shit, go stand on your lawn and yell at the clouds. Go to a bar and talk to everybody about it until they're tired of hearing it from you, right? Same thing applies to YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, Facebook Live, TikTok, I don't care. LinkedIn, I don't know what else. But if they set those standards, you can live inside those standards and operate, or you can say, I don't believe in these standards. And you can go to places like YouTube or, God forbid, BitChute, which is like neo-Nazi YouTube, basically. And let me show you an example of, and this is where we have to, so this is where the title of today's show, We're Not Out of the Woods Yet, comes from. Because there was a quote-unquote, and boy does this deserve air quotes, Health and Freedom Conference in Tulsa, Oklahoma, which some of you may remember was the site of, I think, Oral Roberts seeing a 900-foot Jesus that told him to tell his followers that if they didn't send him $1 million or $5 million, I forget how much it was. Does anybody know? Was it $5 million? In 90 days, the Lord was going to call him home. Like, if you don't give me money, I'm gonna die. Because a 900-foot Jesus outside of Tulsa, Oklahoma, told me to. Now, he was driving on a highway when he came across this 900-foot Jesus, and we know several things about Jesus. We know that he wore robes, and that more than likely, because of the time period, did not wear underwear. So I just hope he was on the side of the road and not straddling it. Just awkward. Some mental image as Oral Roberts. Wow, I should probably listen to this guy. Or just pray that Oral Roberts didn't have a sunroof. Or a moonroof, I guess. I don't know. Well, it would be a sunroof, wouldn't it? S-O-N, sure. This is ridiculous. This is ridiculous. Yes, and I think some of you are thinking,
I like wood.
but this is not the wood we're talking about. You know what I mean? This is a wood that is
Deeper and longer
than most of the wood we have to deal with in our lives. Thank you, Amy. I will never stop being me. I tried being someone else, and they got mad. I'm kidding. It's interesting. I find that in many ways it's easier to be yourself as an actor, and I'm sure this isn't. I know this. I know for a fact this is not a trait I share with other actors. But for me, playing characters and being able to inhabit another human being's life and skin and thoughts and morals and ideas and whatever makes it easier to reflect on my own because of the immersion that goes with it. So being gainfully employed as an actor and having the opportunity to play other characters for long periods of time, not like movies or plays, but like a series on a couple of fronts, has actually given me the room to be more of myself. It's an interesting thing. I think it's some of the same. Oh, there we go. Hello. I moved the little box, and I know it's behind my head, but I've got limited space currently. Hi, Can't Stop Lying. How you doing, man? I salute you. Thanks for 3 out of 4 clips today. Yeah. But this one, I had to go digging for because of this quote-unquote health and freedom conference. And this is the unmasking anti-vax crowd that believes that this is all a plot to suffocate us by, cannibal pedivore monsters. Like, I saw, 10 seconds of this on another clip that I was thinking about using, and then they referenced the full speech with the air cut out of it. This is a version of Lin Wood's speech on day 2 of this conference with all the applause taken out, and apparently it cuts it in half. And I want you at some point to look at the size of the frigging crowd here and know that all of these people are paid speakers, flown in, set up, fed, pampered, trips to the, a local congressional representative's house, under the guise of, community outreach. Like, these people are living cush right now. And I just saw a slice of this. So I'm not watching this twice. We're watching this together because I do not have that much karma to burn off in my life. I just frankly don't. I've already done it with, I think, the 24-hour election one. Okay, here we go. Let's dive into today's clips. Criminy.
And we talk about freedom. We need to talk about freedom for the little children.
This is, yes. Wait a minute. No, we don't. I know I'm jumping in too early, but children don't have freedom. They have parental guidance. We need to care for them. We need to take care of Hype Train. We need to, thank you, Twitch. We need to make sure that parents are protecting and guiding them. I guess technically he means freedom from enslavement or something.
It's time for this country to face the truth.
Uh-oh.
The good, the bad, and the ugly.
That's no way to talk about the other 5 people on the panel.
They are killing our children.
And by the way, when they say they don't mean Joel Greenberg and Matt Gaetz and Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell and the people associated with Donald Trump's modeling agency and the Miss Teen thing that he ran in Russia. Or no, he doesn't mean them. He means Democrats. That's what he means. Just in general, and not just in power. I mean, just voters. Apparently.
You can talk about Q.
Yeah, nobody's. I think. By the way, this is after the news that Jim Watkins and Ron Watkins have been running the Q account and bullshitting everyone, and that this was basically a trick played on them.
But let's talk about you.
Good rhyming. This is great. I mean, he's really bringing out his inner preacher.
Let's talk about your responsibility to the children. Child sex trafficking is the pandemic.
No, it's not. It's a concern always. A lot, and by the way, where it is a concern in this country, it is a massive concern in other countries. But the illusion that somehow, hype train, thank you guys. Well, let's just let him get into it, because, I mean, I will just, good God.
Pedophilia is the pandemic.
No, it isn't. It's a horrible, horrible thing when it occurs, but it's not a pandemic. It's not a ubiquitous behavior. And I can't, look, anybody who watches enough forensics files or those crime shows that are on there knows that, or looks at, To Catch a Predator and the Chris Hansen stuff and all that, knows that there are people out there in varying degrees of this horrific behavior that need to be locked up forever. Like, I believe there are crimes you can be rehabilitated for. Chief amongst them, I would say drug dealing and armed robbery and those kinds of things. There's almost like a skill involved. And you don't take pleasure in the violent aspect of it. You just use the violence to get to the other means. So if you can find another way to the means, it doesn't involve holding someone, hostage behind a teller, a register with a AR-15 or a Glock, maybe you can be talked out of it. If you got a taste for murder, if you got a taste for sexual assault, if you got a taste for this, there's an argument that you got to go to jail and stay there, and that punting these folks and letting them back on the street and going, just don't go 500 yards near a school is kind of the problem, or whatever. But can you imagine being in a room full of people that big who believe that the concept that they are talking about is so delicious, who could pass it up? You know what I mean? Like, there's a level of projection here that's creepy as hell.
They are sacrificing the children to worship Satan.
Yeah, that's got to be a narrow group of folks. I mean, again, if you're going to go that human trafficking is a pandemic, you make that argument that worldwide there's these problems and, both sex slavery and actual slavery and those kind of things that still exist in the world that do, and are absolutely an issue. Yeah, sure. Let's talk about ways we can limit that, especially when it crosses national borders, because we can't exactly strafe bomb Eritrea or someplace because they still allow slavery. But all right, no. There's think about what you have. I mean, do you guys remember the old satanic panic? About the Satan worshiping kids schools and all that kind of stuff in the 80s. This is just a return of that garbage. It's the exact same thing. People lost their lives and their jobs because of this, and they did nothing.
It's got to stop.
Yes, it does. When it happens, it's got to stop. All 9 people in the last 85 years that have done that, that are all lonely serial killers, I would agree. They should be found and put in jail. But this idea that the White House basement is full of kids that have to be stampeded out because they're being poured into blenders. Thanks, Gonzo. Welcome back. Missed you too. Or should I call you Dondo?
It's got to stop, because you, the people, are not going to tolerate it. You, the people, are going to protect the little children.
By the way, this creepy as shit organ music in the background. I mean, honestly, is there someone just kind of buck naked with a Phantom of the Opera mask on going? Oh, by the way, just so you know, in case anybody needs to go, that because I think sexual assault and these kind of things are very serious, are real serious things that have to be dealt with by law enforcement personnel and the normal functions of governing. And of course, if a witness or someone knows of this, they should, tell on those people because there is no middle ground in this kind of stuff. because I take that as a human being so seriously, I refuse to take these dipshits seriously. There's a very important distinction between the issue, most of you know this, but in case anybody's just humping along, and maybe I'm a little sensitive about the YouTube community strike warning, that because I take these things seriously, I don't take this jackass seriously. These are barnacles on on the whale of horror.
They tried to steal the election.
They did. Listen to this. So look at the jump here. There are Satan-worshiping, child-eating pedophiles, and they tried to steal the election. Well, apparently, I guess that means if they tried, they were unsuccessful, so the person who got elected isn't the person he's talking about. He must be talking about the person that lost, because the trying and doing are two different things, as Yoda has told us.
They will not succeed.
Well, yeah, obviously. I mean, are you talking about the Arizona recount right now? Because that's not going to succeed either. Nice try, though.
They tried to harm your health. They will not succeed.
Who's they? Oh, I guess people making you wear masks and not go to church so you don't kill grandma.
They have stolen our children. They will not succeed.
Well, if they've already done it, then what, are you going to get them back? Where are they? I mean, by the way, if this was in Spanish and they were on the other side of the border a year and a half ago, you could make a case that this was a sensible argument for what the Trump organization has done by splitting children from their parents and then just vanishing them and never seeking to return them to their parents, which would seem to be more in line with what this gibberish is, right? Right? Wouldn't you think? Yeah, it's a big eyes wide shut meeting.
Because God is a God of love, but God is a God of wrath.
Okay, so wrath, love, wrath, love. Is it a coin? Does he flip a coin? Does he go like, choose? like God is the villain in No Country for Old Men.
And when you mess with the little children, watch out.
Yeah, watch out. Well, you mess with little children, what we're going to do is go get paid to have a giant revival in Tulsa, Oklahoma that helps no one, where we can all pat ourselves on the back for acting like we're helping when in reality they all supported the guy who separated children from their parents and never bothered to return them? That's weird.
Because your day is coming soon.
Do we have a... Does anybody have an actual... Is there an iCal? Can you send a Google calendar alert?
Every lie will be revealed, and that includes every lie about what they've been doing to our children. If you protect the little children, you protect everybody.
Why would you protect the pedophile, cannibal, Satan-worshipping monsters? They're obviously part of everybody. Everybody's a big word. So if you protect the children, you protect the Satanist cabal. I'm very confused. Can we have... I don't know. Can we... what do you propose, Lin Wood? Do people wear patches or a tattoo to let you know who doesn't? Can we get a mark of the beast that shows us who doesn't have the mark of the beast?
But if you don't protect the little children, you protect no one.
I'm going to be exhausted by the end of all this protecting. Can we just condom the world?
Protect the little children. They gave...
Well, we're all trying to. I think removing Matt Gaetz from his committees would be a start. I mean, obviously, we're talking about a 17-year-old girl in that case, but a minor is a minor, and if you're going to make that case, and I certainly believe that qualifies, then I don't know why you're not name checking him.
Gave me this VIP.
Lin Wood's. Don't tell me he's gonna pull up an Elvis. I talked to my guys backstage. I told him anybody I gave a rose to bring him back to the hotel. Thank you very much. Here you go, baby. Thank you very much. Thanks for your underwear. I'll pocket those. I'll give you my lanyard. That gets you backstage.
All access button. Thank you.
All access button. Thank you. It's not a button. It's
Just one of the children. Here, you take this.
He is. He's straight up. Lin Wood's pulling a straight up Elvis. He threw it to somebody so they can get all access. There's a reason why they didn't just pass out all access to everybody there, but he just chucked it to some hottie in the front row. Is that what happened? Who did Lin Wood give that to? Good God.
I did sign it for you.
Ew! Well, yeah, so they know which one to bring it back, because some of the other speakers, I'm sure, are chucking theirs out to whoever they want to sleep with at this weird, like, sexist, dirty boot knock that you're having in Tulsa. I'm right! He didn't give it to the dude in the hat, but that guy's upset. Look how upset he is. Why can't I have Lin Wood's all-access pass? He chucks it to the blonde, I autographed it for you. You utter creep. Jesus, like, how do you not... Like, I'll see you backstage, baby. Thank you very much. Hell of her blonde, QAnon will I hear.
Do your research. Don't
If you know what I'm saying.
take it from me.
No, do not. That's the best thing he said this whole time. Do not take anything from Lin Wood, for the record. If you could sum up my entire diatribe around this, it's whatever he says. Go ahead now. I'm gonna need to go source that several different ways.
Don't take it from whoever Q is.
There is, yeah, whoever. You mean Jim Watkins and Ron Watkins? You suckers. You big saps. You giant room full of lunatics.
Learn it about yourself.
Yeah, learn about it yourself. Go what? Go to the basement at Comet Ping Pong or some shit? Which doesn't have a basement, but that's never stopped them before. Fuck. By the way, don't forget to thumbs up and like the show. I'm not going to tell people to do the notification bell. You guys don't need that kind of, like, you guys know.
Study about the Illuminati.
The Illuminati. I didn't realize. The Illuminati. You mean the Illuminati? You mean the all right. Whether the 14-person group that existed about 300 years ago?
Study the statistics about child sex trafficking and the number of children that are missing every year in this country and the world.
Right, and assume that all the runaways have been stolen by a satanic cabal and eaten. And that way, you don't actually have to worry about, say, the homelessness population, which contains a lot of these kids. Don't fix those. I mean, if you see a bunch of kids living on the street and you're with Lin Wood, they're probably demons incarnate anyways. Those kids don't matter. If you ask them for ID, you're gonna have to come to the conclusion that, like, oh shit, these kids have parents. They ran away because a lot of them are, have drug issues or are LGBTQ and have been run off by their religious lunatic parents in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and now live on the street rather than suffer abuse at the hands of their parents or their foster parents or whatever. But that would mean you'd have to actually deal with the real problem and actually get involved in the programs that actually help kids and not go to this big, like, pat yourself on the back lunatic fest in the middle of goddamn nowhere.
Do your research.
Yeah, I would agree. Do your research. Unless your research is, Reddit threads written by anonymous lunatics and Macedonian Russian hacker farms. We Are Fear Unmasked is the name of this thing. Good God. And they've got an American flag mask on there. Yeah.
Study up about adrenochrome.
Study up about adrenochrome. Okay, first of all, it's Illuminati, not Illuminate. And it's not adrenochrome, it's adrenochrome, and it's just oxidized adrenaline, which can be synthesized in a lab. You don't have to make it from people. As a matter of fact, it's an incredibly inefficient way. Can you imagine, hey guys, we can actually synthesize this chemical, expose it to oxygen over a period of time, and make this other chemical for, pennies on the dollar, about the cost it costs to make aspirin. Or we can set up an elaborate kidnapping scheme and hope nobody misses these kids, take them to Brazil, hang them upside down, scare the crap out of them, drain their blood, and hope it works. Like, it is the dumbest fucking thing. Study up on adrenochrome. No, actually don't, if you want to keep believing his bullshit, because you'll find out that it's just oxidized adrenaline. And so what? You can buy it in powder. They're like, you can buy it in powdered form on Chinese websites. We're like, yeah, you can buy it on Indian websites too, and you can get it through medical supply places because they can make it in a lab.
Educate yourself. Draw your own conclusions, not mine, not Q's.
Definitely not anyone there.
Whoever Q is.
I'm sorry, did I miss the, hold on, the super chat hold on, get over here. Why is this not, oh, I see. Why is this not showing me the wording on the super chats? I see the stickers. It's a celebration, thank you. Missed you too, Gonzo. And then, oh, I see, it's just not. When the screen gets bigger, it'll let me look at it. Sorry about that. I'm just trying to read that. Somebody mentioned reading the super chats, and I apologize. It'll go through in a second. It takes a little bit for it to get to me. Epinephrine, hello, yeah. Wait, what were they laughing about?
Q's, whoever Q is.
What's the laugh? Jim Watkins and Ron Watkins post this stuff, own the account. They talk to Mike Flynn and others to try and go, hey, tell Trump to say this bullshit and we'll post something, and then it'll make people believe it's real. Is that the official? That's the Q Zorro. Watch this jackass.
Q is.
First of all, asshole. Look, when I do the Zoltan hand sign, you know what makes me, show that I care? Is that I do it backwards. So that you see the proper Z, not me. He just did a Q for himself. The hash goes the other way for the audience, you self-involved asshole. Oh, yes, Gonzo, not Dondo is back. My wife loved that you remembered her, and she was a teacher and wished her safety. It was nice of you, Hal. You're a good buddy. Oh, well, thanks. I'm glad. I hope she is. I'm glad she's all right. He's now the Q Zorro. Please show up with like a Dread Pirates Robert bandana hat and a Q on your shirt next time we see you, Lin Wood. He did it again! Dude, it's that, you prick. Thank you very much. What is it? He's backwards doing it 3 times like he's throwing holy water on people. Look at this asshole.
Does not like child
I want a backwards Q shirt. That's a great idea.
sex trafficking. Q does not like the Illuminati.
Well, at least he pronounced it right that time. Q doesn't like the Illuminati? What doesn't he like about it? The secrecy? Is, honest to God, all the fact that it's a big bullshit front aside, what is Q but a low-rent, right-wing, lunatic Illuminati? Don't they, like, I'm a secret, I can't tell you who I am, it's a big secret, I don't dare because they'll go... What? That is what you supposedly hate about the Illuminati. Christ.
Q does not like satanic worship. Do you?
Well, does he? I know he doesn't like it, but does he like it? Like it? Q doesn't like satanic worship. What doesn't like about it? The buffet. Do you hate satanic worship? No, but I just don't like it. What about it? Well, I just think it irks me. What is it about satanic worship that upsets you? I don't know. It just rubs me the wrong way. I don't like it. There, I said it and I feel better.
Do your homework, draw your own conclusions, and
Q does not like doing his homework.
then stand up for the children. Take the fire and the fearlessness of God Almighty and save the little children. That's your job. That's my job.
What? Do you get dental? Sorry, but for the record, none of these people are saving children. None of them. Every single one of them is a Republican. Every single one of them votes against pre- and postnatal care for poor women. They vote against school lunches. They vote against pre-K. They vote against, everything that would make a kid live in a poor household where they have to go to the store and never come back that you've ever watched on a forensics files has been caused by the what these assholes push about, hey, if you're born to poor people, God's got to teach you a lesson somehow. Yeah, and don't forget, save the children, unless they're immigrant kids, in which case let them wander in the desert till they die, and then, I guess, bury them where they lay, so that they're not a drain on billionaires. What the hell? What the hell? None of these people give a shit about kids. Or they'd help the ones that haven't disappeared. And if you help the ones that haven't disappeared, you lower the number naturally of the ones that do.
That's God's will for this country.
Well, wouldn't it be his will for all countries? I mean, why would he go through the process of making all these kids if he's just going to let them disappear? He can do that with floods.
I've been very vocal. You've been very patient and very kind. I told someone I came here.
You mean you've been bloviating?
And I said, how did it go? I said, well, so far I've been talking about God and they've been treating me like I was Elvis.
What? Son of a bitch. He said that the night before, and then he goes and throws his lanyard at some chick. He's like, hey, you know what they used to do with Elvis? That's what happened. Holy shit. Are we just not... It's like somebody's cracking his head open like an egg and we all get to look inside. This dumb son of a bitch thinks he's Elvis all of a sudden and is chucking out his goddamn lanyard to a blonde in the front row because he thinks he is. Son of a bitch.
Thank you.
No, it's not thank you. It's thank you very much. Oh, thank you very much. If you're going to be Elvis, it's just sad. Have they no respect for the king?
Felt kind of good. I told my wonderful people that work with me, I said, remember this.
Remember this. I'm single, and I don't want any phone calls after 9:30 at night.
Every once in a while, pinch me and remind me that it's not about Lin Wood.
You tell people to pinch you? Oh, so your dream is, because they usually say pinch me so I'm not dreaming, to see if I'm dreaming, because if I can feel pain, I'm not dreaming, therefore pinch me. So your dream is to be Elvis. Good to know. Okay, so you're basically just a fame-seeking asshole. You're like a redneck Kardashian lawyer. Okay. Yeah, so when does this idiot leave the building? Yeah. Lin Wood has left the building. How? Thank you very much.
You don't really know me.
I count myself lucky because of that. I know something about you. I know you're a shit lawyer. I know you probably voted illegally in the last election. I know you consume more calories than are required for maintenance.
Thank you very much. I'm a man of God, and I'm not ashamed to say it. But it's not...
Well, why would you be ashamed? First of all, you're in a crowd of people who think that that's a badge you wear.
Lin Wood that you love. I'm a flawed person.
Boy, howdy.
I'm imperfect. You love the message of Lin Wood because I tell you the truth, and you love the truth. God is truth, and truth is God.
Okay, so this is the local road preacher thing where like I'm a weak man. I know I got a wife and she's at home, but I need a little comfort on the road, blind lady, so I throw my thing at you. Come on now, everyone knows that I'm singing for the Lord. Jesus Christ, these pricks. That worked last time. It's a callback.
Let Newsweek write about that tomorrow. Let Newsweek say Lin Wood's making the Q.
No, he isn't. He's not making a Q. Q's go the other way.
Go, Newsweek. Watch this one. There you go.
Lin, Newsweek doesn't give a shit. Look at that guy. Yeah! Show him. I mean, obviously it's backwards. But yeah! What is this? And the security dude. That guy right there. And his Trump tie. Made in China. Just standing there for security in case anybody tries to bum rush. In case anybody throws a pair of underwear.
I'm not afraid to talk about it.
Why would you? You were in a completely safe zone. You were in a lunatic safe space.
They've accused me of being a QAnon conspiracy theorist. Why?
Because you are? Because you are? Because you make Q's in the air backwards?
They're telling you that I am a bad messenger.
Yeah, you are. You're terrible at this. You're a shit lawyer. You make terrible arguments. You're embarrassing. Anything that might have been legit about child sex trafficking in general, you water down and make devoid of all meaning.
They're trying to attack me because they can't attack Q.
Well, sure, because Q is a farce.
Q is the truth.
Well, no, Q isn't the truth. Q is Jim and Ron Watkins. They've taken over the account. It, was initially, like anybody could post on it. The password was fucking Matlock when it was on 4chan. Then they moved it to 8chan. Then they moved it to 8kun. I told everybody all about this in January before the HBO documentary even came out, and I was right. And he's like, Q is the truth because if they talk about the fact that it was these two dudes manipulating them, they have to, all right.
This is about the children, for God's sakes.
Well, no, it isn't. It's about your sake. It's about your dude losing the election. And so you're using the illusion of a massive child sex trafficking ring that you've made up in your fucking head as a smokescreen for the fact that your candidate hung out with Jeffrey Epstein, was proud of it, used to talk about how he used to walk in on women when they were changing and underage girls when they were changing, when he had these beauty contests, and he bragged about it. That's your dude. We're not talking. They didn't run John Kasich and then talk about this stuff. They ran Donald Trump, and they support him no matter what he does. Of course you have to hide behind a smokescreen this big when that's your dude.
Send this videotape.
Videotape. He might actually be Elvis. Send this Betamax out to you, girl. Come on now. I love Betamax. VHS is the past. Send this videotape out. Videotape. All right.
Send it to Hollywood.
Send it to Hollywood. Just mail it. Here you go. Where do you want this to go? Just generally Hollywood. You mean the city? Yeah. Well, you do realize there's almost no production goes on in actual Hollywood. It's largely a tourist destination and small. I mean, half of it's Thai town at this point. You mean the greater Los Angeles area? Send it to Hollywood. Oh, you mean the production companies that moved to Georgia?
Hey, Clay.
You send it to Hollywoodville. Return to sender. Address Hollywood.
Send it to the House of Windsor.
So Windsor.
Hey, Clay, send it to Bill Gates.
Yeah, send it to Bill Gates with his vaccine nanobots.
Send it to the damn Illuminati. Let them hear the truth.
Is it Illuminati, T, or Tahe?
And whatever they do to
What? Do you just, is that just general delivery? Illuminati. They'll get it. They're everywhere. I mean, technically, would you have to, if the Illuminati is what they say it is, wouldn't you be able to just drop it anywhere and they'd go like a black helicopter with just zip. It's so easy to get a letter.
to me, I don't fear them at all.
Well, because they don't exist and they're not actually out to kill you and they're nothing to be afraid of. It's just real fucking easy to be like, I'm not as scared of being beat up by toddlers, these vicious. Because they don't give a shit about you if they even exist at all. And the Bill Gates Foundation is like, yeah, he's a lunatic. I don't give a fuck.
Send it to the Vatican.
Oh, the videotape. Yeah, right. Sorry, I lost track of what he was going to send them.
Send it to the politicians, the Clintons, the Obamas.
The Epsteins.
The Bidens.
The Biden.
The Bushes. Send it to those people because they are involved in child sex trafficking.
Well, all right. Well, then I guess we just drop it. So basically everybody but Trump. That's a bit weird. Because, I mean, I guess that's how the Illuminati would work. That the only president with a direct connection to, you know, the only president to wish Ghislaine Maxwell well in her legal fight is the one that doesn't get a name drop when we're talking about child sex. That's what, yeah, Yeah, the Bushes. It has to be. It has to be everybody but Trump, basically. The Fords, the Kennedys, the, you know, whatever. The Nixons, the Carters.
It's time to tell the truth to America. We live in a time where it's difficult to tell what's real and what's fake.
And whose fault is that, you lunatic?
Who's dead and who's alive? Who's alive?
Who's dead and who's alive? It's very... I am holding back like 9 really awful references about the inability for Lin Wood to tell a living person from a dead person right now. Yes, Elvis would be one of them. I was walking through a mall the other day. Come on. Karate.
Who's alive and who's dead? Who's our enemy? Who's our ally?
Yeah, it is really hard. I mean, we're all here, and some of you guys, I don't know if that girl I threw my lanyard to, my super backstage button, I don't know if she's actually on our team or if she's actually a secret member of the Illuminati that's going to drop some blue fluid into my mouth in the middle of the night and turn me into an automaton. I don't know if what I'm saying right now is even real. How can you really know?
Who's using us for money?
Shh. They might catch on. There's a whole room full of them listening to you.
Or who's using us for God's work? Have discernment, I do.
Do you?
Ask God for it, He'll give it to you.
Ask for what? Ask God for what He'll give it to you. Welcome to Clay Clark's Health and Freedom Conference 2021. I lost my place. Hold on. I need to find, real quick, give me 1 second. I think I have a close-up of Lin Wood, like from another angle where, let's see. See if I can find it. See if I can find it. Here's a close-up. I found it.
Empty and bare. Do you gaze at your doorstep? a stage, and each of us.
Are you little out tonight? This is where he really gets down.
I wonder if you're lonesome tonight. You know, someone said the world's a stage, and each of us play a part. Playing in plus tax.
There you go. That was a close-up of Elvis. Elvis looks high. You think?
If the Pope is still alive.
I mean, honestly, do we know? I mean, the Pope hangs around with people who are dead one day and then come back 3 days later. I mean, it's like a trend with these assholes. If the Pope is still alive. Is the Pope... Can we Snopes that one? I don't know. Look, and these people are like, fuck yeah! The Pope is probably not... is still alive! Look at this person in the back. Look at that guy over there. Fuck yeah! The Pope might be dead!
But when you send it to the Pope, don't ask him to pay for it, because I don't think he's got much money these days.
Oh, okay. So, you're like, what does that mean? What? Oh, hold on. Quit that. Hold on, my headphones moved back over here. Hold on. I hate when that happens. Okay, hold on, real quick. Yeah, there we go. Okay, thank you. Why am I not hearing this? Hold on, 1 second, guys. Burp, burp. Are you lonesome tonight? Are you? There we go. Hopefully that works. Nope. Why is it? What happened? There you go. It thinks it's going to it. I'm not. I don't know why. Is it playing?
Truth port.
Yeah, you guys are hearing it. I'm just not hearing it. Hold on 1 second. I think I have to turn this off and this back on. It gets weird.
Down on this.
Nope. Audio issues. Gotta love them. Turn off the stupid thing. Hey, stop using my headphones.
Country.
You crazy person. Sorry, guys. I am having a tech issue. 1 moment. There we go. Bloop, bloop. Hopefully it works. Yeah, there we go.
Fill this auditorium with the truth tonight.
Well, yeah, I mean, so far it's definitely empty.
Their days are numbered.
Well, except for the Pope, because he's already dead, I think.
Because Almighty God's had enough.
Oh, by the way, what I was saying before my sound went out, in case you're like, what do you mean he doesn't have much gold these days, or he's broke? Okay, so this is, all this shit's on YouTube, right? Okay, so so I'm looking up, trying to find this clip of the Lin Wood, speech in full, which is what we're watching. And all of these things, like you go through this, Lin Wood's whistleblower exposed to Rod Rosenstein, dirty trick squad, right? So that's Rod Rosenstein. The guy who protected Trump is the bad news, of course, because he's, I'm guessing, Jewish is the problem. Endorses Timothy Charles Homestead's facts and reporting, satanic pedophilia in government, right? Okay, these are all videos from him. Wano Savin, Lin Wood, and Jim Caviezel. Okay, they're all these assholes. Okay, there it is. Q100, Truth Lin Wood destroys deep state cabal, panic in D.C., Pope Francis dead, Vatican gold gone. That's what he's talking about. I don't know, honest to God. I don't know what the hell, but that's where it comes from. That's what I'm sure there's a deep dive to be had out there that you remember all the stories about how all the gold in Fort Knox is gone? And that, America's really broke and it's part of the Fed and it's the Rothschilds and Jewish cabal that stole all the money. Okay, now they know because Trump was in there and that, Steve Mnuchin went down and looked, that whatever gold we had as far as reserves that went away are all back and have been for decades. and Mnuchin went down and had sex with his wife on a pilot, apparently, but allegedly, and so they just took that whole Fort Knox story and moved it to the Vatican.
I've said to you that this was the second harvest.
The second harvest. There were a lot of harvests in the Bible. I think you're skipping some harvests.
Going to bring people to him. It's also been described as the Great Awakening because you're getting ready to learn.
Well, it's been described as the Great Awakening because that was the phrase that the Q's borrowed because it was a religious it has a religious connotation, and you could scoop up a bunch of evangelical lunatics and sucker them into believing what Q had to say. So that's why it's the Great Awakening. That's why they're using it.
That God is real. That's the second harvest.
Why is that the second harvest? A lot of people believe God is real. What are you talking about?
But you're going to be awakened to this fact that just as God is real, the devil is real.
Well, he'd have to be, wouldn't he? I mean, if you read the Bible, God created the devil, and the devil is, otherwise there'd be no free will because there'd be no alternate to choose. You know what I mean? You can't exactly say that you have freedom to choose good if good is the only thing that exists. You kind of need the devil. This is the argument for why, Judas was actually the apostle that loved Jesus the most, because he was willing to sacrifice his soul and himself to try and, to get Jesus crucified because he believed he was going to rise up, and therefore the prophecy doesn't happen. The prophecy can skip everybody but I think Peter and Judas, because Peter denies him 3 times. That was part of it for the cock crows, that whole nonsense. And then, of course, that he would be crucified and that they were going to come from him. So if those 2 guys don't do their job, nobody really talks about the Apostle Glenn.
And the devil's children are going to...
What's up with the stupid music? Exactly. It's like a horror... Yes, it's a 80s sci-fi horror film.
...be exposed. Every lie will be revealed.
Well, yeah, but that's not going to work out for you, dude.
Killing our children. Send them to jail. Put them in front of a firing squad.
Yipes. Send them to jail, then put them in front of a firing squad? I guess we should be happy that he wants to go through the normal order of the judicial system. People should probably get a fair trial before they're put in front of a firing squad, I guess.
They are committing acts against humanity. The penalty for...
Well, yeah, but you're running interference for them because arguably, this is you're a Trump supporter, and the only direct through line we have is Trump to those folks. I'm not saying that's what's happening, YouTube or anyone else who's watching. I'm just saying I find it to be a flaw in his argument.
An act against humanity. It's death. Take them out.
Jesus. Dude. There's a room full of gun owners there. These people are friggin' crazy. And they think they know who... Yes, he's definitely ad-libbing. This is not well thought out. It's not very... I can't keep up with it. It's very meandering. But it's hateful meandering, so at least it's exciting. This was one of the... By the way, this guy formerly represented the President of the United States of America. Okay? If this was just some... And there's a bunch of these random jackholes that talked at this thing. I don't care. It's none of my business. People can be lunatics. This dude was the president's lawyer. He hangs out with Mike Flynn all the time, who was the shortest serving NSA in history, but... Oh, he's like, are they... Somebody asked in the chat room, are they armed at this shit fest? No, I'm guessing they're not, and I'll tell you why. Because I don't think they allow guns in here. So much for freedom, I guess. Why isn't it open carry at the Tulsa Health and Freedom Conference?
For every little child that has suffered and is suffering tonight. For every little child that doesn't know how to get home.
Oh, you mean like the kids that were separated from their parents by the Trump administration and they didn't bother to reunite them with their parents? They just kind of let them disappear? Or the 8,800 kids they dumped on the Mexican side of the border because they were sick of housing them with no guidance, no no coordination with NGOs, nothing. Just dumping kids in cartel towns. Bye. You mean like those kids? You mean like the 10-year-old or 11-year-old that was found in the desert that was separated from... So that kind of kid? No, clearly not that kid. That kid needs to be put on a plane, flown back to Guatemala, and dropped off whether he knows anybody or not, right? Because nothing bad will happen to him there.
For every little child that goes to bed at night after being tortured and abused.
They have beds?
And just wants to see their mom and dad and their family.
Oh, you are talking about during the Trump era.
You fight for those children. Don't you ever quit fighting for those little children.
Dude is straight up fake crying. I'm calling it. Like he's doing his best road preacher bullshit.
Because this is America. This is...
Yeah. This is America. We don't care about the Hispanic children that are by themselves. Nah.
This is America. In America, we do not tolerate crimes against humanity. And if you're...
Whoa. Yeah, I mean, it's one of the reasons why Trump lost the election.
Torturing and terrorizing a child and having sex with a child and actually murdering a child and eating parts of a child and using...
Jesus Christ, dude.
...the body parts of that child, that is a crime.
Yes, it is. Yes, technically, yes. Anybody who's actually doing that deserves to, depending on the state it happens in, capital punishment or life in prison, whatever after they've gotten a fair trial and we're not just like trusting Lin Wood to drive around going, that one looks like a pedophile. Here, how about that one? Look at that. He's got a Biden sign on his lawn. Round him up. Firing squad. Ready, fire, aim.
Against humanity, and we're not going to tolerate it.
Well, nobody does.
Not in America. Not in the country formed by God Almighty.
Well, technically no country is formed devoid of God's guidance, technically speaking. I mean, maybe there are. Maybe to him, there's like, Chad, that's one that the devil came up with.
And for those of you that do, watch out.
Yeah, he's talking to you, front row.
Because God's judgment is coming.
Yeah, that's a statement that's been said for a very long time.
He's going to lift up his children.
Why does he have to? Why does he have to? Why does he have to lift up his children? Why don't they lift up themselves and live, under total faith in God's grace and believe that they are part of the goodness of the world and go about doing the good works of God on earth and leave judgment to God because vengeance is mine, saith the Lord. Why wouldn't you want to actually, let's just say, I'm just going to say, you believe in the Bible and Christianity, why wouldn't you want to act like it the rest of the time? Like in how you interact with other... I know. I'm sorry. I'm being nuts.
And he's going to crush those devil worshippers.
Well, no, he's not. I mean, a lot of them have lived and died in history, theoretically speaking. They burn in hell. It happens, their punishment is in the afterlife, not on earth. I mean, that's part of the issue with being alive, isn't it? That, unless you believe in karma, in which case you're a heretic because that's a Hindu belief.
So you pray for it. You go back to...
Yes, go home and pray for people to be crushed. And because you think they're a pedophile. Right.
Your homes and you pray for God to take action. You go home and you pray for those little children. Because God wants to hear you tell him that you love those little children as much.
Yeah, and Lord, I'm praying for the little children. Yeah, how about work to get some of them out of poverty and make sure that they have school lunches and enough books, and that when I give men the grace of knowledge and they come up with a vaccine for a disease that occurs because of your separation when you left Eden, there's a lot of There's a lot. It's very murky. You have to work that out for yourself. But if I give men the grace of knowledge to be able to heal diseases, in my grace, that you follow that and understand that, which I'm trying to, help you guys while allowing you to maintain free will as much as possible. But maybe don't blame impoverished children for being born to impoverished parents. It's not a child's fault. Their parent's an asshole. What else? Yeah, and if you actually have real knowledge of a pedophile, probably report it to the police. Because I also gave humans the grace of an organized society. So maybe that. Maybe I don't know. What else? What else did you want to know?
Lord, how can I blow up a government building full of
What the fuck are you talking about? There are no... What? Why do you think that kind of behavior is so enticing to that many humans? It's a horrible aberration, but it's pretty goddamn rare. Pardon me.
Much as God Almighty loves them.
Yeah. Oh, and yeah. P.S. Don't eat any of them. Just don't eat any yourself. I know the way you talk about it, it just sounds like you can't imagine anyone not liking it, and that scares me. That makes me really concerned. Because the people at this big gathering that are praying to me the most seem to really think there's something really great about it, and that if you had an opportunity, do you know how hard it would be to talk someone into eating a baby? Do you have any idea? What do you mean it sounds delicious? Okay, now you're scaring me. Christ.
Love the children.
Yeah, but within limits.
Pray for the children.
Yes, that's a great idea. We are the world. We are the children.
Listen to the word of God.
Well, yeah, that's pretty generic, because what if your God is actually Beelzebub? And every time you say God, I'm like, oh, he means Jehovah, Yahweh, the Hebrew God, and therefore I'm supposed to assume.
It's past time.
Oh, they're late now. Great. I show up early. I'm at this thing, and I didn't realize I'm late when I didn't even know when we were supposed to be.
But we're on God's time.
How am I supposed to set an alarm?
Are we going to win it?
Yeah! The Pope is still dead, right? Where's that dude?
Not right. We have already won it because God has already won. This is our country. This is our children. This is our God. And God has already won. Give him.
Well, then what am I listening to you for? Christ, I could have been getting a pretzel and a beverage.
All the praise tonight. Let me hear you praise God as loud as you can. Send it up to heaven. Send it up to heaven and tell him how much you love him, how much you praise him. Let him know, because he wants you to praise him. He loves you too.
Why does he need you to praise him? It's not like he's got esteem issues. Praise isn't about telling God he's great. Praise is about recognition. That's what it's supposed to be. What it's been turned into by assholes like this is like, we gotta let God know he's a fragile dude. It can wipe us out. So, it's the sinners in the hand of an angry God, and we're all dangling from a spider web over a fire, and it's only through God's grace he doesn't cut the thing and let us fall into it. That whole evangelical preaching bullshit's been around since the 20s. That's not what praising is in a real church setting or in a real spiritual sense. Recognizing, from a religious standpoint, the awesomeness of God, in theory, is what praising is about. It's been just turned into, like, sales, Who here wants a t-shirt? That's what it's been, This is the Are You Ready to Rock part of this.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Tulsa. Thank you, Clay. Thank you, everybody that's been involved in this wonderful 2 days.
Yeah, you mean the guy where you are and the guy who ran it, and you can't remember any of the other folks because there's only one of them you remember. Like, hey, what was your name again? Gary. Don't forget to get the blonde chick I gave my pass to backstage.
So I came tonight to finish up.
Ew.
They said finish hot. Is it hot enough for you?
They said finish hot. Ah, really?
Tonight, to finish up, they said finish hot.
Oh, God. Did they? Did they? Were you walking on stage when they said it, or was there just a meeting afterwards? Like, we have notes from yesterday. If we're gonna let you talk again, you gotta finish hot. Or it was just, or did they slap you on the ass as you were walking up the 4 steps onto this platform? Finish hot. Finish hot. Yesterday was a little.
Is it hot enough for you?
Yes, obviously you are all in hell and of hell. Obviously, it would be hot in the presence of demons. Oh, dear God. We've all been drawn into hell!
They said to bring the heat. Did I?
Who's they? Oh, sorry, the demons backstage. Bring the heat. Do what we want.
Bring the heat for you.
Ew. God damn, this guy's gross.
Now let me know by your response.
By your response. Am I bringing the heat in my slacks? And my blazer? And my Ted Knight and Caddyshack kind of themed outfit? Let me hear it in your response.
Did I bring the truth to you tonight in this auditorium?
Okay, so they basically he's earning his pay right now. This is he's a little concerned that he's not worth the money they paid to get him there. This is a self-esteem moment coming from someone who's been on stage almost my entire adult life and half of my teens. I've seen this many times.
You bet I did. I brought you the truth.
Well, yeah, but only by spouting lies and making us all realize, like, oh, good Lord, I've been listening to a bunch of demonic bullshit. Lin Wood. Lin Wood with his little red microphone with the blue tip, yeah. Don't forget your lanyard, baby. Plus tax. Drag it out. Don't be afraid to, milk it. Thank you very much.
God loves you, and I do too.
Little bit of a tell there. Listen to the little shake in his voice.
God loves you, and I do too.
And I do too. Do you really? Do you? Or is this just a way to make a little cheddar cheese?
Thank you again. I tell you, when I talk, I ask God what to say.
And so far he hasn't answered?
I say, God, put the words in my mouth.
And it hasn't happened yet.
Tell me what to say and how to say it.
Which is just embarrassing and horrible of you. Because basically anything you say that's wrong, you're just going to write off as some sort of auditory hallucination you're having?
He told me tonight, didn't he?
No, clearly not. Because I'm going to guess that the almighty God you talk to, who created hell as a burning pit of fire that lasts forever, would not tell you to bring the heat. I'm just going to go out on a limb. All right. And he did have Satan's organist behind you. Wait, what?
Now you go tell others tomorrow. I thank you again.
Well, thank you again.
I love the people.
All right, he's got a clock on stage, and he's got to talk a certain amount of time or he doesn't get paid.
By the way, when you're
By the way, God sent a PS.
sharing my message,
When you're sharing my message, when you mail this videotape to the Illuminati,
I don't think you have to bother to waste the time to share it with Donald Trump. I think he already knows.
well, yeah. It makes him nervous. I guess anytime you bring up, people who, I don't know, hung out with Ghislaine Maxwell at a house full of underage girls.
So thank you. Thank you.
TikTok, TikTok, TikTok. Seriously, he's waiting. He's got, well, that's my time. I'm almost waiting for him to say that.
Thank you. Thank you, all the people. God's people.
Oh my gosh. If I'm going to get into the semantics of God's people versus what people aren't God's people.
We the people.
Oh, yeah, to constitutional. Yeah, line those two up.
God bless each and every one of you.
I'm going to do that because I've still got 3 more minutes to talk.
And God bless
The United States of America and Donald Trump?
little children.
Oh, the little children. Okay.
And God bless the United States of America. Thank you very much.
Wait, he's not wearing a hat. He forgot he was not wearing a hat. Did you see him
The
tip his-
United States of America. Thank you very much.
I thought I was wearing a hat this whole time. Hashtag fight back. Yeah, tell big tech we're not gonna bow to their pressure by using the hashtag fight back on Twitter. Lin Wood has left the building. Dun-dun-dun, dun-dun-dun, dun-dun-dun.
You read your line so cleverly. I never missed a cue. Then came Act 2. You forgot the words. You seem to change, you fool.
Hey, you forgot the words. You able to change, you fool. Criminy. There's a bunch of, oh God. Is that Stanley Tucci? And a bus and Beto O'Rourke and, I can't tell if that's Elon Musk mixed with the, what's that other host? That's that guy. This guy seems to be Elon Musk's face morphed with this guy's face, with Rob Schmidt or whatever his name is. Oh my God. So just so you know, hold on. Just so you know, that little piece of Lin Wood, that was a 12 minutes. They cut out all the applause breaks because he got minutes full of applause breaks in this. And over the course of watching, you're like, all right, yeah, we've seen Kat Kerr and all these other folks, and yes, they have the Flashpoint crowd have a reach, and they avoid a lot of the terms of service stuff on YouTube because they dare not kick a Christian program to the curb lest somebody show up at YouTube headquarters. It's scary. I understand. Hi. And thank you guys. Thank you, Ninka Crinkles, for the gift sub. And appreciate you doing that. Don't forget to subscribe if you have Amazon Prime on Twitch, twitch.tv/Hal Sparks. Then again, I wouldn't be concerned with Lin Wood if he was just some sort of rando Georgia lawyer at this event or whatever. But the guy was the president's lawyer in our country's history. And now he's hanging around with and representing Michael Flynn, the former national security advisor, a man who had above top secret clearance for 15 days or whatever. Yeah. Criminy. All right, so here let's go with somebody just say I look like George Hamilton again. I'm gonna be flattered by it, but I just still don't get it. I've seen it a few times, and I understand we have a similar nose, but that's where it ends. I'm not nearly tan enough, and he has way better teeth. His teeth are huge. But I would totally do a remake of Zorro the Gay Blade. Zorro the Zayblade. Zorro the Gay Blade if they made it again. Why not? So this is Glenn Kelly. All aboard the woke campaign. No one safe. School bus. I don't know how they're going to tie the school bus in. And then the accident tape. This picture is there's a whole lot of something going on there.
Working Americans.
Okay, hold on 1 second. We got to back up. What?
I want people to be able to say whatever they want, all right?
Let me guess. There's going to be a huge caveat.
Right? I'm a big advocate of free speech. With that in mind, what they're saying in Hollywood right now and on the political left, all of that racial virtue signaling.
Or actually caring about racial justice, depending on how you look at it.
It's starting to complicate, disrupt, and become a really bad thing.
When you stand in line at Starbucks, is it upset? Is it ruining your trips to the golf course?
The lives of ordinary working Americans.
Okay, so how does it... Woke Hollywood is making it very difficult for people to just do their jobs. All right, how's that?
This kind of garbage is actually harmful.
Oh, you mean the clip art and the... You mean that kind of Photoshop? I mean, it is shit. Don't get me wrong. It is not... It's not quality work. I don't know what the reference is. I don't know why the school bus... I mean, maybe you'll tell us. I don't know why those three guys... I don't know why it says no one's safe. It looks like they all got DUIs and ran over a bus full of children. So, yes, I would agree with you that this is shit. This is not good work. Someone's work is not being done of quality.
And there's a trickle-down effect.
Uh-oh. Trickle-down morality? Uh-oh.
I am saddened and shocked at how insensitive I was in that interview with Rachel Lindsay.
Okay, I didn't see the... No one is safe from Wokism is what they're playing over top of this. This is from Good Morning America. He was saddened, and he doesn't realize how offensive he was. Okay, I don't know what he said.
And I didn't speak from my heart, and that is to say I stand against all forms of racism.
Okay, now I understand. That's the part that upsets Greg Kelly. How can you work? How can you just get your job done if you also have to stand against all forms of racism? It must, And
I am deeply sorry. I'm sorry to Rachel Lindsay, and I'm sorry to the black community.
As a white man who has had privileges that others could not depend on or take for granted, I've clearly had advantages over the course of my life.
Okay, terrible, obviously. I mean, look at all those people behind them. They were just all selling hot dogs. There are all those people running their shops, and here comes Wokism being interviewed, and they all had to stop working. And look at all these people. They should be working, but they can't because apparently they have to go out and stand there and listen to this because... What?
Granted, I've clearly had advantages over the course of my life.
The silence is the biggest crime that white guys like me and the rest of us are doing.
It's this, yes, the silence. That's what bugs Greg Kelly, is that he worries about, now every word that comes out of his mouth is tinged with racism. Now he's got to worry about his silences too?
Staying silent. We need to say something. We need to keep saying something. And we need to stop saying that's not okay more than just one day on Twitter. I realized I needed to get educated about how to stop the silence.
Oh God, it's terrible. Can you imagine?
Look at them apologizing for being who they are.
They're not apologizing for being who they are. in the case of, I guess, the one that he's talking about in particular is Beto O'Rourke recognizing privilege. But I don't think he's apologizing for being white. I think it's just recognition that some people have it worse off because of their circumstance, and being aware of that doesn't mean. And by the way, these guys can't bifurcate being aware of white privilege and shitting on white people. They can't make that. They cannot separate that in their own head. You understand? We're not seeing this through the prism of our eyes. We're live watching Greg Kelly's interpretation of something, which is amazing.
Some of the stuff sounds fine, but taken together.
Yeah, but you put them in 3 clips together, and what does it mean? What is it?
There, I think it's a problem.
Well, we know you think it's a problem. You think a lot of things are a problem.
And I don't, I know some of these people, and I think they're quite frankly ridiculous. All right, so much for that. I really do.
Really?
Because it's not just a one-off interview. This is a whole campaign run by the left, but again, it's affecting everybody else now.
Oh, no. So it's run by the left. So there is no right? Okay, let's talk about the balance of thoughts in our country. Because what they're really complaining about, it seems, is that what they view as left is actually the center. The normal chunk, not the fringes of either party, but the normal functions of society are addressing a reality that maybe was overlooked up to a period of time. And you've got 60% of the public going, yeah, that's reasonable. I appreciate you saying that. And that's a good thing or whatever. And then we can all move forward under the knowledge that you're aware of these kind of things, and anywhere you can help, you will. And if somebody's wrong on their own, that's their ass. But in general, you can recognize privilege in certain circumstances and move on and help people to get those very same privileges as Americans, let's say, because Americans are clearly privileged over people in other countries. And you want to even out that privilege. That's not a bad thing, right? But this isn't the left. This is the middle of the country. This is the vast majority of humans. And I think sometimes when we talk about left and right, one of the problems we have is this idea that it denotes an actual spectrum. You know what I mean? Instead of like the Earth and its own satellites, some of which are valuable to gravity, others of which are garbage, that is just floating around in the Earth's gravitational field, the center being the actual planet, and then the fringe actually just being things that float around it but are not a part of it, but deal with the gravitational pull of the heaviness of the concepts that are there, that lie therein, right?
I take responsibility.
Oh, yeah. I remember this video. Like, this is from last year. And P.S., you know how I talk sometimes about bad shepherds of good ideas? This is one of those situations. The fact that this was in black and white and was all these like thoughtful people saying this does not help the issue. I am not convinced that you recognize things. It looks like posturing, and it helps feed the idea of, virtue signaling, which is what they sell. When you make a video like this looks like virtue signaling even to people who agree with you.
I take responsibility.
I take.
See what I mean? Like the piano music and that kind of stuff. And if it's just a setup for assholes like Greg Kelly to think the entire movement of, racial awareness and justice in this country is aligned with this kind of like what would effectively be white posturing.
Responsibility.
I take responsibility.
I take responsibility. Black people are being slaughtered in the streets, killed in their own homes. These are our brothers and sisters, our friends, our family.
By the way, the part that Greg Kelly probably has an issue with most of all in this is not the piano music and the Hollywood and it's the whole "they are our brothers and sisters" part. That's the part like, oh, they are?
We are done watching them die.
What kind of shows do you watch?
We are no longer bystanders.
Wait, you were a bystander when someone died and you just watched? What are you talking about?
We will not be idle. Enough is enough.
I will no longer allow an unchecked moment. I will no longer allow racist, hurtful words, jokes.
Oh, that's the part that's upsetting Greg Kelly again.
Stereotypes.
Oh, Stanley Tucci, why do you have to police Greg Kelly's racist inner monologue?
No matter how big or small, to be uttered in my presence.
So this virtue...
Yeah. It's not virtue. I mean, this qualifies as virtue signaling, but the ideas that they're talking about in it aren't. The black and white and the piano music and stuff undermines the message that's there. But I don't think Stanley Tucci's lying. I think everybody who participated in that was doing so from an open-hearted point of view where they absolutely care. That's what's upsetting to Greg Kelly.
Virtue signaling has been going on for about a year now.
Yeah, a whole year. And Greg Kelly is fed up.
And they're doing it really to enhance their own position. And
why would it enhance their own position if it was just a left-wing position? Why would it work? Why would it help? Think about that for a second. He's saying this is a fringe thing, and the fringe is doing an attack on the rest of us and normal people. Why would it help to do something like this if it was off-putting to normal working people? Maybe, just maybe, it's in complete alignment with normal working people. And this side of the argument is calling out this side of the argument, and the people in the middle who see it, appreciate it being said, but aren't ate up by it, and don't particularly like this side of it and don't even consider it a real part of their life, and sit here in the middle going, oh, I'm glad you're saying so. That's nice of you. And I don't appreciate what they say. It wouldn't work. It's not a marketing campaign if the audience isn't bigger than the one you already have.
And you can hear it for yourself. They're exaggerating the issue, distorting it. This is not the country that you and I live in. But as they virtue signal...
Why would you signal virtues to a crowd or to a group of people if they weren't larger than the audience you already had? If you're really just doing it for mercenary reasons. It doesn't make sense.
This is now starting to...
Yeah, pro-lifers. Well, look at Lin Wood's entire fucking speech is a virtue signal based on an exaggerated pile of bullshit. Think about what we just watched. That whole Tulsa gathering, that is a giant live meeting of virtue signaling. All QAnon, all of it is virtue signaling. And the Pizzagate crowd were live armed virtue signalers. You want to talk about virtue signaling? How about showing up in colonial clothing to push back against the Affordable Care Act? That's virtue signaling. They're shit virtues, but that's what it is. Greg Kelly's whole fucking show is virtue signaling.
In fact, a year in, regular working people. I want to tell you about
I'm sorry. Did someone fall into the fry oil at a fast food restaurant because this video came on? What's interrupting normal working people? I'm sorry. Is there so much racism? This goes to Lin Wood's bullshit idea about pedophiles being everywhere. Does Greg Kelly think that there's so much kind of loose, normal racism always happening that policing it takes up that much work? There must be so much at his workplace and at Fox News that you go, Jesus Christ, if everybody called out every little racist thing we said, we'd never get anything done. That's what he's talking about. The rest of us, it doesn't come up that much because we're busy getting along with everyone. Seriously. The vast majority of people are getting along. And so we're going to talk about they're exaggerating this circumstance. They're dealing with police shootings. They're talking about that in particular.
This bus driver in Louisiana. Now, we don't have a name of the driver yet, but a driver was fired because of Well, a comment.
A school bus driver, apparently at a Catholic school for dogs. Obviously, it's part of a Disney film. Just a bus full of dogs with barrels under their necks looking for a snowdrift. Sorry. I can't. But apparently, and by the way, we don't think, honestly, between us, that this person was fired from St. Bernard's Parish because of something they said. It's because the Pope is out of money and he's been dead for a while, right? There's no gold at Vatican City. They're broke.
A matter, I believe, of free speech.
Okay, a free speech. So, school bus driver says something. What did they say?
It was covered by a local news station in St.
We don't know their name. We don't know everything else. We don't know anything else about this person. But never let a lack of details stop us from bullshitting about stuff.
Barnard Parish down in Louisiana.
Barnyard, the Barnyard Parish.
Louisiana. And we're going to break down that report for you.
Ma, the bus driver said something to me that was racist.
The 6th grader told his mom that the bus driver scolded him after his face mask slipped below his nose.
Okay, that's terrible. It slipped below his nose, and the kid was scolded by the bus driver. And what did they say?
Told his mom he was out of breath after running to catch the bus. Gabriel recounted what the driver said.
Since George Floyd, that's what y'all all say, but I don't see a knee on your neck.
Yeah, that's fucked up. I don't see a knee on your neck. Get the fuck out of here. You're a bus driver. That's your response? You're driving children, you psychopath. Why? How is this woke? No one is safe. If you can't, tacitly, passively, aggressively threaten a black child with kneeling on their neck, you're like, aren't we all in danger? Seriously. Who watches that clip and goes, shit, I'm next? Greg Kelly, that's who.
I'm like, are you sure she said that? He said, yeah, all the kids on the bus heard it.
Not only did other kids hear the George Floyd comment, but it was recorded on the bus's onboard camera.
Okay. So what I'm sorry, what part of this is supposed to, that's straight up fucking cruel. It's weird. It's racist. Why? Cause it's a black kid. You out of breath. You were relating to that. Like this. Okay.
No, I have no issue or qualm with the mother. Everybody stands by their kids.
What do you mean stands by? Are they going to play the video and it's not on there?
No matter what. I'm thinking about the bus driver now.
Yeah, we know.
Story goes on.
She tried to make my son feel like he is not supposed to be where he was, and just don't make him feel inferior. He's not inferior to nothing.
Yeah. Why is it the kids? What does George Floyd or any of that have to do with a child who is out of breath from running? What does that have to do with anything? Beyond even just like the straight up racism of it, which is clear because he didn't say it to a little Hispanic kid or a white kid or an Asian kid, did he? Or she or whoever it was.
He's just as equal as any one of those students.
Which is true. Absolutely.
On that bus.
Of course he is, but I'm not.
Of course he is, but
not quite sure what she thinks happened. A little bit more.
The superintendent could not reveal whether the driver was fired or resigned because it's a personnel matter. But
okay.
She did have some strong things to say. In a telephone interview, Vautier said, quote, "She no longer works for our school system. I can't defend that. I don't condone that. What
terrible. Is anyone safe?"
She said is offensive and inappropriate. It was racially insensitive, and we took appropriate action.
And Vautier said she was especially sensitive to the matter because the Chauvin trial was in full swing whenever the driver made that.
Yeah, who gives a shit? If it was 3 years from now, that would be fucked up.
Offensive comment.
All right, and they went on. They put out a statement saying what the driver said is not in line with their values.
Right.
Do not
values, virtues, virtue signaling, value signaling.
reflect the values of our school district.
How is this whole segment based on this incident?
Primarily, though, this is a bus driver, and bus drivers, as you know, have it tough. I used to be a...
What? What? What are you talking about? Please tell me you used to be a bus driver.
Kid on a bus. I gave the bus driver...
I used to be a kid on the bus. What? God damn. What is wrong with this asshole? Look at this picture.
And bus drivers, as you know, have it tough. I used to be a kid on...
Yeah. How does, what is the stress of a job? How does this is like Mel Gibson was drunk. He's not an anti-Semite. He was just, who doesn't toss a few back and start to hate Jews? Like, what? What does stress have to do with this? He didn't swear at the kid. If they got fired, he was like, sit the fuck down. And he just lost his shit. Like, I'm sorry. I haven't been driving a bus. I've been yelling at the television for a long time. Sit the fuck down. I did it again. He didn't swear. He was...
On a bus. I gave the bus driver a hard time, all right?
Which one is Greg Kelly? I'm going to guess in the yellow shirt. By the way, this is a piece of bullying clip art. I gave the bus driver a hard time. Is that supposed to be the bus driver?
Right? It's always
look at this. Values. Look at the bottom of this shit when I turn on the thing. Values are debatable. No, they're not. No, they're not. It's a Catholic school. Normal, values aren't debatable when you are a bus driver for kids. I don't know, I think Matt Gaetz, had a point. That's not a value that's going to be debatable when you drive a busload of fucking kids for a living, you lunatic. And if you work for a Catholic church, guess what? Their values are going to peg the meter about what's okay on their goddamn bus. And that kind of, oh my God. Listen to this. At least, you know me. You know I can't stand when people can't even lie well. As an actor, I'm good at saying things that aren't true for me. Because as an actor, that happens. I can have a happy day, but my character is angry. So I have to find a way to make myself appear angry for this character, or vice versa, which is always harder, by the way. If you're upset and you have to play happy, it's way harder than if you're happy and you have to play upset. So, but... imagine sifting through the news everywhere. News stories, and that's a local news story. Sifting through local news, and this is you see this story, and you come to this. Now, I'm completely open to the fact that they play the tape, and the person, and he was like, well, young gentlemen, it would be much safer if you just pulled your mask up over your nose for everyone involved. And then they were fired for no reason.
In the back of the bus. And bus drivers, they're under scrutiny. They got a camera basically in every single bus.
Basically.
They had a camera on this bus. This is not that bus in question, but you...
Here's a picture of some random children that we just thought we'd show on national television that we just found on the internet. It's nice to know the bus is stopped, and it's from 2017, and it was 2:50 in the afternoon.
You've seen these kinds of images before.
Well, no, I don't know that I have, actually. This might be the first time I'm seeing an image. I know you sift through busloads full of kids on the internet and watch live feeds from school buses, Greg, but the rest of us don't necessarily.
Now, back to the kid and what was actually said or not said. The kid said he couldn't breathe because of the mask. Is that how he put it? As simply as that? I'm not so sure. I'd like to know more, okay? Because I can't breathe is different from an issue with your mask.
Jesus Christ. Please tell me you're going to shock us all with footage of the kid swearing his ass off and invoking George Floyd himself and calling the bus driver Derek.
I can't breathe has become a political mantra, right?
No, not for 12-year-olds.
I mean, we've all heard it.
I can't breathe.
Yeah, where's that kid? Is he in there? There he is. Is that him? Where's the? There he is. He's laying down over. Is that kid?
I can't breathe. I can't breathe. I can't breathe. I can't.
So Greg Kelly's point is that the driver had a point about. I mean, is this just straight up just you people segment? Is that what this is? Holy shit! Words matter. Yeah, they do, you dipshit.
So back to that little kid.
Yeah, the kid you keep showing on screen, the minor child.
Did he say, I can't breathe with a loaded message, or was it just, I can't breathe because of my mask? And the bus driver, were they reacting possibly to a politically charged message? Did they possibly just not say the exact right thing as the entire country is talking about race more controversially than ever before? So a bus driver didn't say exactly the right...
Oh my God, play the goddamn tape! Play the goddamn tape, you cretin!
Right thing, and now has been terminated.
Didn't say the exact right thing. Didn't say anything close to the right thing. Said some racist bullshit.
Is that right? Is that reasonable?
Yes, it's right and reasonable. It's a Catholic school. It looks like a private school, so it's not even public school issues. Yeah, it is.
Are bus drivers trained in what to say and not say?
Oh my fucking God. What kind of training do you have to go through? Jesus Christ. Please tell me you play video at the end of this and it didn't happen the way the kid said and you went down this fucking rabbit hole. Oh my God. I'm going to lose my shit.
Are you? Am I? Not.
Yes, I am. I am capable of when somebody is running, pulls their mask down and go, hey, did you put your mask up or whatever? And like, I can't breathe. Like, okay, well, step back over there, pull your mask down because you can socially distance. Take a few deep breaths. When you catch your breath, get on the bus. Let's go. How was your day? That's what I'd have done, you dumb son of a bitch.
Really, we're all just trying to figure this out.
Are we? Some of us aren't new to not being racist, Greg. Some of us aren't fucking sideswiped by racial interaction in our lives. God damn it. How weird are you? What is this?
Right?
Right? No, not right, you dipshit. I mean, I gotta understand. Okay. I'm reacting in a way that is not seeing through the lens of another human being. And Greg Kelly is not talking to me, and he's not talking to you, and he's not talking to the normal vast majority of humans. He's talking to the ass-crack dregs of the Trump world that still gargle Trump's balls weekly by watching Newsmax just to own the libs.
A lot of strange things are going on.
Are they? Strange things. Black kids getting on buses, school education. I don't know.
And some uncomfortable things are being mentioned by both sides.
Are they?
I'd like to show you a tweet from Denise McAllister, a noted conservative thinker.
Okay, a noted conservative thinker. Dear white Christian men, you are being systematically erased. Having been baptized when I was 11 years old, being white and being male, I feel she is racially profiling me, and I would like to file a woke attack.
Dear white, straight Christian men, you are being systemically erased.
You do realize that writing... How is someone who said that to a black kid being erased? What the fuck? What makes you think that asshole's a Christian? He was fired by a Christian school, if it's a he at all.
This is only the beginning, but it's happening even on TV. Now you're not allowed to be seen unless accompanied by a gay or a black person, particularly a black woman.
Dear God. Please tell me that's not true. 1 second. Hold on. Let's see. Let's see. Is that true? Oh my God. It's true! Dear God, it's true. I mean, it's lovely when it happens. It is true, and I miss you, Angel, and you're wonderful. Let's see. Is there something else? Let's see. Let's hold on. Quit. Let's see if the other thing is true. Let's see. Let's see. Oh my God! It's true. It's true. I can't go anywhere. Like when I go out with my girlfriend, we always have to bring along a black person or a gay person because I mean there aren't enough of them to go around. I'm curious. Black people are like 12% of the population. Gay people are like 11%. There's some overlap. They're not two separate groups, so they don't make up 23% of the population. There's obviously some overlap there. So it is statistically impossible for every white Christian male in this country to go outside unless they are accompanied by a black woman chaperone, which I think is somewhere in the order of 6% of the population. We need a lot more black women in this country, is all I'm saying, because otherwise, you can't have these guys. It's like 20-1.
Now, that may seem pretty shocking, pretty offensive even.
It's ridiculous.
But maybe
it's not shocking and offensive. It's fucking dumb. I'm sorry. Maybe 3 years ago, we were like, now we're like, oh God, try harder.
Maybe there's something to it. Have you been watching these shows lately in the mainstream media?
Have you been watching these shows with the mainstream media? Has everyone been trying to be lab rats? You think?
Have you seen many white men talking to you by themselves?
That's your whole show, fuckhead.
It doesn't add up that way, right? Because right now in America...
Wait a minute. Hold on. Which one of these dudes is gay? It doesn't matter. They've each got a black woman. Never mind. There's a white lady and a black lady over there. Shouldn't they be each assigned to a white Christian man? I'm just afraid there's a white Christian man roaming around free someplace without his proper chaperone.
Being white, and especially being a man, is just not seen as very cool, very...
Oh, Greg, you were never cool. You're not ever gonna be cool. It's fucking impossible. It has nothing to do with you having a gay sidecar or, or managing to find a black woman who's willing to walk in public with you. We can't all be Robert De Niro. Neither can he these days. I think he's getting a divorce.
Hip, very woke, or very chic.
Look what I've got. Is that a white Christian male? Yes, I got him yesterday. He's fabulous. It's fantastic. It's not very chic, is it? No. It's a little run of the mill. I have him do odd jobs. Is this the whole... I'm trying... honest to God, I'm having a really hard time understanding, besides the kind of racist panic this asshole is having, what's going on. Right? White man fear is real, says Francie. No, it isn't. No, it is not. I'm white. I'm male. I was raised Christian. I have none of this shit. None of my friends have this. Well, one does probably. But that's a minority. That's a minority inside the majority. Okay. George Floyd Memorial to be held tomorrow in Minneapolis. Oh, God, is this white guy going to have to apologize for his skin color?
As a white man who's walked through with life pretty damn easy.
As a white man who walks through life with that privilege, walk in these shoes. Walk in these communities.
Yeah.
It's horrifying.
Of course, all lives matter. But as a white guy, I've never felt that my life didn't matter. I've never been pulled over for driving while white.
Right, that's the point he's trying. That's what Black Lives Matter. Because Black Lives Matter, we understand when you actually have a brain and you can functionally think and you're not just panicking like Greg Kelly. That Black Lives Matter too is the entire point of Black Lives Matter. But they're answering a situation where there are those that seem to think they don't, and so everyone is just agreeing that they do. And by simply agreeing that they do, that's freaking the shit out of Greg Kelly.
Can't control my situation as a white man, but I do owe a little bit, I owe a little bit back for people who didn't have the same opportunities that I had.
For elite politicians and entertainers, this is...
He is so pissed. Look how pissed this asshole is. Look how mad. We've seen him mad like this before. This is Greg Kelly's last nerve. Mm-hmm.
This is great. This is the kind of language that's going to keep you in that elite status.
Why would it keep you in that elite status if the vast majority of people don't support it as a general thought? If you're an elitist and you're only talking to other elitists, why would that ever help? Especially if you're an entertainer or a politician. Because don't people vote with their fucking feet and their dollars? If this was off the rails, maybe, just maybe, you're just pissed that you're on the wrong side of history.
But when they talk like that, what happens at the bus depot?
When they talk like that, what happens at the bus depot? Oh, God. Thank you, Greg Kelly, for just the... I'm gonna die. I'm dying. What happens at the bus depot? I can't. I'm sorry. I'm all holding it together. Oh, God damn it. Oh. Look how mad he is. Oh, God. Oh. Oh, my. Oh. By the way, Greg Kelly is not a Christian. Just saying. So all of his bitching about white Christian men being erased, as far as I know, he's white. I haven't seen his 23andMe, fully. But, and men, depends on if you're using the biological term or the actual characteristic term. Like, there's a difference between being male and being a man. I would argue that Greg Kelly fails in that zone as well. But in the Christian area, he's completely full of shit. And this is a great example. But, well, oh, my God.
At elite status. But when they talk like that, what happens at the bus depot? Strange things.
Strange things are afoot at the bus depot. Right, Ted?
And people being held possibly to unreasonable standards.
Unreasonable standards? Shut your fucking mouth and don't be racist to children, you weirdo. What do you mean? What's unreasonable about going, you always act like, you black kids always act like you got a foot on your neck. Like, holy shit, piss off. What are you talking about? Strange things are afoot at the bus depot.
You know, one of my favorite paintings growing up. Yes.
Oh, dear God. Let's see. Maybe what could, how, is it in this collection anywhere? Just, you know, in general, could it be one of these? Does one of these stand out to you in any way? Which one?
It's cornball, I'm told, not sophisticated.
Oh my God! If he goes to like dogs playing poker.
Norman Rockwell, The Four Freedoms. This man.
So what?
Standing up and saying his piece. Kind of looks like Abraham Lincoln. This one was The Freedom of Speech by Norman Rockwell.
So?
Happens to be, I didn't notice this as a kid. Maybe that's my privilege, but everybody in this picture is white.
Right. Yeah. So far we agree.
Well, some artists, especially woke hipster artists, don't think that's very cool. And there's been a campaign to revamp all of this.
Well, just recreate them. They're just recreating Norman Rockwell paintings with you know. I think the problem is that dude's neck tattoo. It's just a bit much. I mean, if you're going to have a neck tattoo and wear suits, I just feel like, have the decency to wear a torn leather jacket. I mean, why are you getting a neck tattoo if you want to be part of corporate America?
Just like Denise McAllister said, look at this again.
There's no white men in it anywhere. Well, because they're all white in the other one, so maybe it's a balancing act. There's obviously a white lady. That's clearly a Karen right over her right shoulder. Her right breast, really. It's odd positioning. I don't know what the other girl is looking at. I'm just saying this is a lot of Photoshop, and it's weird.
White is being erased.
Oh, they got rid of the other painting? You can't get it anymore? Oh, you can get it. Oh, you do have a copy of it. Oh, it is available. Oh, I thought it had been erased. That was
From the version of what America should be.
Whoops.
I think we're all involved, don't you? Shouldn't we be? That brings us to Dante Wright. So only certain...
Why would that bring us to Dante Wright? Because you've been wrong about everything else so far?
People can participate in this conversation, and if you are, there are only certain things you can say. Now, Dante Wright.
They just want to play the video of him getting shot, don't they? Fuck this. I'm scared. Well, I mean, that's working its way through things. I like the initial part of this. I don't know how we went from... This is the name of this fucking thing. All aboard the woke campaign. And we're going to end with somebody getting shot. That was an accident, by the way. But you're just going to play that? Because... Okay. Pass. I've only got a little bit of time left, so... Oh, God. So there's been... By the way, I think I'll end on this one, because I want to address something like we Newsmax and OAN get an outsized amount of attention on the show because of their reach, largely. Yes, woke was not achieved. Yeah. Thanks, Foggy. I appreciate that. So I literally I laughed so hard I think I hurt myself. There is a bunch of people. Hold on one second. Let me go over this. So in the Lin Wood, I'll try that again. In the Lin Wood world of, of right-wing psycho Q crowd, Trump is king and shall be, and the Lord chose him, and all that kind of stuff, all that crowd. They have considering the number of people who actually believe that crap, right? And I don't mean the people who are like, there was questions about the election, because there was, if you split that down the middle, it's like people talking about the ACA. you know, the ACA isn't popular because you got 54% of people who disagree with it. Well, if you drill down, 20% of that 54% think it shouldn't exist, and the other ones think it doesn't go far enough, which wouldn't necessarily mean they're against it. They just would like to see more added to it. So it's hard to say that that's a political balancing act. Here's 46% of people or 48% are for it, and 52% are against it. But the against isn't really an against when you split it that way. The same thing is true in a lot of ways of the internet and the supporters of Trump and all that kind of stuff, because as the number of people who support Trump in the Republican Party seems to oddly be growing, the reason is because anybody who doesn't is leaving. They're calling themselves independents. They will vote for a Republican next time around. If the group that is running is sensible again, they'll all re-register as Republicans and vote for, Kasich or whoever the hell, or Kitzinger, or anybody that they actually like that's running next time. But they won't call themselves Republicans because of Trump right now. And so the only people left in that support Trump are the absolute lunatics of the movement, right? And so the same, there is an outsized amount of right-wingers. And this is, I'll give you an example. So this dude, what's this guy's name? Okay. I don't know why this guy is a doctor, but let's just go. This guy's name is Dr. Stephen Turley. And he's got 43,000 BitChute subscribers. BitChute is, like I said, it's sort of the neo-Nazi YouTube. They try to make it look as much like YouTube as possible. You can even see that they basically recreate all the elements of it. The button, the subscribing. I mean, it's basically they just stole the tech and then just turned it into their own thing. And if you want a good white supremacy podcast, this is the place that you're going to go. But it's also, because, some bedfellows aren't so strange, it's exactly where you would find all the Trump dead-enders. And if there's an example of that, it's this dipshit wearing an "I'll be back" t-shirt. And the fact that he owns all of the good Trump books. And then there's, that's a picture of, Konstantin Kalimnik or somebody on his shoulder or whatever. But I'd like you to see what this is. This guy, he's on BitChute now. That's I think 1 million subscribers. That's or 1 million views or something like that on YouTube. That's he hangs that on his wall. That's what you get. YouTube sends you one of those automatically when you reach a certain point. So understand the reach that we're talking about here, right? That before he was broomed from YouTube, which I'm sure he was. I mean, I don't doubt that he'll show up elsewhere, but these clowns are they're a special. They're cut. So this is his article, is that Biden has the 3rd lowest approval rating of any president since they've been counting. And there's a Newsweek article that I think he references. But pay attention and see if you can figure out who has the lowest. Any guesses? Any guess that it doesn't line up with the... All right.
Biden is collapsing as his...
Oh, sorry, I got to turn this up a little. Biden is collapsing. That's the narrative right now.
100-day approval rating plunges to the 3rd lowest since tracking began over 70 years ago.
Oh my gosh. It's the 3rd lowest in history in the last 14 presidents or something like that. Guess who the other 2 were as we've gotten into the modern era? Do you think it's ticked down because approval ratings have become, as media has grown and awareness has grown of policies that, how presidents were felt about in the first 100 days when there was just radio or just a random TV, one nightly news thing an evening versus 24-hour news? Do you think it's been ticking down? I mean, obviously, it bottomed out at one point. Well, I don't want to spoil it.
In this video, we're going to take a look at the latest ABC News Washington Post poll that has Biden panicking, how the mainstream media is actually doing everything they possibly can to cover the poll disaster up.
So there's a poll disaster, and they're doing everything they can to cover it up. I mean, there's a lot of articles about it, I suppose, about what his rating is. It's 52%, by the way. General poll in the Washington Post one.
And why it's not working, as more Americans than ever are walking away from Biden and the Democrats. You are not going to want to miss this.
Well, more Americans than ever. I mean, well, I'll just let him. But yeah.
Greetings, everyone. Dr. Steve here with you. What?
Scholar, author, speaker. He's obviously speaking. There's books behind him, I guess. They're all pro-Trump, so I don't know if that's authoring or just kind of if he just speaks into a thing. Honest to God, does anybody know who that picture is between the two tumblers?
Wonderful to be.
Is that George Soros? Why is it backed up by? Why is it on a music stand?
With you, as always, we're here to give you each and every
like Dr. Steve's Patriot shirts. No, I think it's kind of embarrassing.
single day conservative hope in the midst of these
get your own and other merch at
and trying times.
Yeah, actually, you know, I sell shirts too. You can get a Motang shirt if you want. I should probably sell my shit. Maybe I can learn from these right wingers who have their giant silver buttons on the wall. I don't have one of those yet. I will, but I don't yet because I grow my shit organically. It's amazing what you can do when you buy views, isn't it?
Better so you can feel better and provide for you a
Thank you, Francie.
path to freedom. So if you haven't already done so, you know what to do. Make sure to smack that bell and subscribe.
Smack that bell
button. Before we dive into things here, make sure to click on that link below and head on over to my special website for my
Prepare with Steve. Everyone, prepare with Steve.
My Patriot Food Supplies.
Prepare for what? The end times? Good God. Buckets of meals. Look at that. It just looks so delicious. It's so delicious.
So with this whole pandemic insanity, we cannot wait for an emergency to happen before we respond to one. And
well, no, of course not. I mean, next time it would be better if, let's say you show up someplace and the cupboards were bare. You want to fill those cupboards as quickly as possible in case there's an emergency. Unless, of course, you're Donald Trump, in which case you found the cupboards bare and you left them that way. Or they weren't bare and you let what was sitting there rot and didn't renew it. So you got a bunch of stored food and it says, you need to replace this every 16 months. But they were like, screw it. Nothing bad's going to happen. Sun shines out of my ass.
No one makes preparing for an emergency more ridiculously easy and affordable than My Patriot Supply. Gang, they're simply the best. Their food...
Trusted self-reliance. Why would it be trusted? The end hasn't happened yet. No one has cooked their 15th post-apocalyptic meal yet. What's trusted about it? Yep, they said it'd come in a bucket, and it sure did.
It's last up to 25 years in storage.
How do you know? I mean, technically it says so. Are we 25 years past the apocalypse?
They include breakfast, lunches, and dinners.
Well, yeah, I mean, look at that. Fresh apples. I'm going to guess there's no fresh basil in there. Is that a freeze-dried apple slice that you just pour water on it and puffs up?
And if you act now, you can save $50 off a full 4-week emergency food supply.
Wow!
You click on the link below.
Really? It says $100 act now if you say 100. It says 100. Powdered whey milk. Cheesy broccoli soup. Creamy Alfredo pasta. It's a lot of mac and cheese. A lot of cheese and carbs. I think they know their audience.
My special website. So do not wait. I have got my food supply.
Oh, we know.
Make sure you get yours. Click on that link below.
Why?
Or go to preparewithsteve.com and save $50 off your very...
By the way, don't prepare with Steve. If you're going to prepare, dig your own fucking bunker and hide, because this asshole will eat your mac and cheese, I have no doubt.
Very own 4-week emergency food supply.
It's okay. The video is only 3 minutes long. It would take too much to go back and fix it.
Today. All right, gang, let's dive right in here. It is now official. It's absolutely official. Joe Biden, once heralded as the single most popular man ever elected president with over 80 million votes, more than any other human in the history of the cosmos, the single most popular man on planet Earth, as it turns
Well, I don't know that anybody ever said that. I think he just won by that many votes.
out, is in point of fact one of the single most unpopular presidents ever.
ever. Okay, singular. Really? One of the single most unpopular presidents ever. Well, I guess he's below 50%, because if you're below 50%, then you're in some deep territory. If you're below like 45%, you must be total shit.
With his first 100 days in office now complete, a brand new ABC Washington Post poll has found that
Wait, so we are agreeing that the polling data from ABC and Washington Post is legit? So Jeff Bezos' polling is to be trusted now. Good to know. All right, good. All right. Well, look at us agreeing.
Joe Biden's approval rating at the 100-day mark of his presidency is...
Oh, it's very... Look at the sad picture. Oh, and he obviously is... He opened up... Somebody in his office clearly put that poll inside his folder so he could see it when he opened... Oh, I'm unpopular. Mainstream poll, that's a great way of putting it. Who put this out? Daily Wire. Oh, what do you know? Ben Shapiro's website. Biden's approval rating at 100-day mark is third lowest since tracking began. The third lowest. The third lowest. So there's two people worse than he is in the first 100 days.
Is, quote, the third lowest since tracking began in 1945.
Since 1945, third lowest out of what, 14 people? What is it, 12? I didn't do the math beforehand.
According to the poll, quote, all told, 52% of Americans...
52% of Americans in the latest ABC Washington poll approve of Biden's work in office, lower than any president in 100 days in the office since 1945, save Gerald Ford in 74 and Donald Trump in... Oh. I'm sorry, who's the most unpopular?
In the latest...
Sorry, what? I'm sorry. Gerald Ford was 6 points more popular after he pardoned Richard Nixon than Donald Trump. I do not think this makes the point you are hoping for.
ABC News Washington Post poll approve of Biden's work in office, lower than any president 100 days in office since 1945, for the exception of Gerald Ford in 1974, got 48% because of his unpopular pardon of Nixon, and Donald Trump at 42% in 2017. They should have qualified that by saying, after we, the media, gave Trump 92% negative coverage for the first 100 days in office.
Sorry, editorials, where's that from? I mean, it says there's a little email there if you want to license that, but I'm guessing you didn't do it because you're not actually showing where that paper's from. Media Trump hatred shows in 92% negative coverage of his presidency study in 2018. Yeah, but this was in the first 100 days. This is after he'd been in office doing a bunch where 92% of the things he did was negative.
Office, but of course, they omitted that part.
Why would they... I can't imagine why they would omit a story from 2018 in a poll that happened in the first 100 days of his presidency in 2017.
ABC News went on to report that, quote, for the 14 presidents from Truman to Biden, the 100-day average is 66% approval. ABC political director Richard Klein said, quote, Biden's honeymoon appears to be ending if it was even there in the first place.
Oh, so it wasn't a honeymoon, it was actually just... he's got a 52% approval rating. When we're supposedly divided, he's over 52%. All right.
What's so striking here is you can, at the same time, say President Biden is in so much stronger position than his predecessor. But so much weaker than almost everyone else that we've seen at this point in a presidency. What a fall, no? I mean, you would think that would be the headline. Biden, once the single most popular human being on the planet.
Yeah, that never actually happened. Why would you say that? There's no polling data that would show that. I don't quite know. I mean, it's adorable.
Receiving more votes than any presidential candidate in human history has suddenly plummeted to the third lowest approval rating for any president since tracking began over 70 freaking years ago.
Well, let's see if that's a consistent thing. So this is an ABC Washington Post poll? Is that what we're dealing with here? Let's see. Here's a Forbes. Oh, there it is. This is close. Biden's 40. Oh, it's a 54% approval rating, better than Trump, but worse than Bush Obama, as first 100 days near end. Top line: as President Joe Biden enters the final stretch of his 100 days in office, he's still garnering approval from a majority of Americans and faring better than his predecessor. And this is where they stole the language from. So Daily Wire just basically plagiarized the Forbes article since it came out before the Daily Wire's article. That's adorable. Okay. But an overwhelming majority of voters are still concerned about the economy, as concerns over gun laws and immigration also come to the fore, according to news polls. Okay. So key facts. About 54%. 54. So in the ABC Washington Post, it was 52%. But in 54% of the 1,002 registered voters polled by Fox News between last Monday and Wednesday, so Fox News gave him 2 more points than, all right. That's better than former President Donald Trump's 45% rating at the same time by Fox in his first days, but worse than the ratings of 62 and 63 for former Presidents Obama and Bush, respectively. The president earned his highest marks for his handling of the coronavirus, which garnered 58% approval. And border security, let's see, but he lags on immigration, border security. Gee, you don't think that Fox viewers and people that they reached out to who went, yeah, Fox News, yeah, sure, I'll do a poll. You don't think that that's the weight that they would see? Okay. Despite the overall high ratings, only 45% of respondents said they were satisfied with the way things are going in the country today. Again, that's a split poll, but whatever. And more than 75% of Americans saying they are still very or extremely concerned about the state of the economy. Yeah, that's why we need an infrastructure bill. At least 2/3 of Americans also said they were very or extremely concerned with gun laws. 74% are but are they concerned that they're weak or too strong? The nation's infrastructure. Do you think we need more money or less money? And illegal immigration. Did they use the word illegal when they talked about it? Majority of Americans said they favor Biden's proposed tax increases. Oh, look at that. I'm guessing dipshit isn't going to bring that up in his thing. Is he going to bring that up? The one area where he is in the territory that's higher is in the idea that he wants to raise taxes on people making over $400,000. You think he'll bring that up? Doubt it.
You would think that such a headline would be splashed on the front pages of media publications all across the nation, wouldn't you?
No, because you're making up the alternate version of...
But then again, that's if we actually had a media that reported news instead.
Well, they did, obviously. They reported the poll. I mean, I don't know what the top of the article was, but you were reading the Daily Wire's... Didn't they put... You read... The Daily Wire did an article on an article in ABC Washington Post that was apparently... that had a headline on it. What'd that headline say? Show us.
We've got a propaganda machine that pumps out narrative, not news.
But enough about your show. Dude, you're wearing an I'll be back Trump shirt.
Obviously, the tempered headlines for Biden's humiliating poll numbers reflect the fact that the media has become...
So Trump's poll numbers weren't humiliating then? I mean, they're the bottom. They're the absolute worst, and they never got better. Never. But sorry, Biden's supposed to be humiliated, but Trump will be back. I see.
Propaganda wing for the Democrat Party. The Media Research Center just published a study. It's pretty interesting. It contrasted the coverage that President Trump got in his first...
Boo-hoo! Because of what he was doing and saying.
60 days in office versus that of Sleepy Joe.
Commentary. See, that says commentary, study. Trump had 89% negative press first 3 months presidency. Biden has 59% positive. Yeah, but were those stories true or false? Wouldn't that matter? I mean, it depends on what you think is negative. If you think being sexist and racist isn't negative, then obviously you're going to disagree.
While Trump got 89% negative coverage from the media during the same time period in his respective presidency, Biden got an astonishing 59% positive coverage. So
who are these assholes doing 31% negative coverage of Biden during this whole thing? What does that how do you qualify what that means? Qualify what negative and positive means? Because I've got to talk to Hollywood and the mainstream media about getting rid of those 31%. Haven't they been broomed yet?
90% negative versus 60% positive. I mean, look at this from CBS, gang. Look at this. Biden receives positive marks at 100 days, CBS News poll.
He wins strong marks on COVID. They're talking about the poll. Win strong marks on COVID-19 vaccine as well as handling of the pandemic.
ABC gives him one of the worst polls for any president in over 70 years. But hey, let's forget that and let's take a look at this wonderful puff piece from CBS.
So, I'm sorry, Trump got less than 45%, even though 45 was literally his number as president. And, did we hear nonstop from Fox? Did Fox News ever bring it up that he never got above that?
The morning briefing over at PJ Media said it best. Mainstream media poll dances to pretend Biden is doing well.
Is that okay? Well, I'm glad you at least name-checked the right-wing group that you're showing.
Biden is being perma-fluffed by the mainstream Marxist media, and the good news...
The mainstream Marxist media. I see. That's why a good portion of the positive poll numbers he's gotten on the economy have been with the stock market going up, and yeah.
Is that the public is recognizing it. A recent survey by the Media Research Center found that 45% of 1,000 respondents believe that the media has been far easier on Biden than...
What's an MRC poll? Who's MRC?
On Trump. Only 35% believe that the coverage between the two was the same. Those 35 are obviously in a moral coma. So that's...
Well, clearly. Yeah. I mean, obviously, they're being way harder on Biden just to make it look like they're being hard on him because they feel pressured because they were honest about Trump, right?
Certainly good news that a plurality recognize how pathetic the media has been with Biden, but having...
You are media. You have a silver YouTube button.
Said that, with all the permafluff coverage the Marxist media is giving to Biden, we could certainly see a number of reasons for his collapsing poll numbers, don't you think? I think Greg Gutfeld said it best.
Really? That's never been true.
In the end, Biden is failing precisely because he's actively...
Yeah, this is I mean, we haven't covered much of the Gutfeld stuff because it's fucking boring. But this was the memo they all sent out, was that the woke storyline.
Trying to unify the country around disunity. He's trying to unify the nation by promoting the notion that the nation is racist and alienates half or even more than half the population. I mean, think about that. How absurd this whole leftist Marxist project ultimately is. They're trying to unify us around the belief that we're a bunch of racists.
I don't know that that's the purpose of it. I think you recognize that there's racism in a system without saying the system is racist itself, and try to remedy it by bringing us all together. That would seem to be the way it is. I mean, I know why you feel divided out.
They think they can create solidarity by convincing us of how much we exclude. But not only is this absurd on the face...
Please bring on a black guest that you have, like, always sitting right off camera. Please, right now. That would be so awesome.
We now have a new Yale University study that shows that all this Marxist racist obsession from the Democratic Party is actually alienating voters.
Why would Yale do that? I thought Yale was part of it. Isn't Yale where the elites come from?
And what was so fascinating with this study is that it found that all the racist ranting coming from the Democratic Party is actually alienating them, get this, from their own base. The study actually found that economic issues galvanize the Democratic base far more than racist rhetoric.
Well, it's not racist rhetoric. That's your word, but we'll get onto that.
The study found that Democratic voters were far more likely to support an issue if it was couched under the term economic justice than if it was couched under the term racial justice. And this was particularly...
Well, that's because it's a broader... It would affect everyone equally instead of singularly. Then you're going to narrowly focus any of that. You could also think that it doesn't go far enough, or that it's just, I'd have to see the study.
Really true of white Democrats. which is hilarious if you think it through. White Democrats are the least galvanized by all this racial injustice.
Why is it white? Was that the primary demographic of that? Why are they doing a whites-only Democrat study?
Correct. So much for the party of tolerance, right?
No, actually, I think we're doing all right.
But it's not just the alienating nature, the incessant racist rhetoric. We've talked ad nauseum about the
Yes, you talk ad nauseum. That's I think that's the show, isn't it?
Princeton study that
Dr. What's his name? Doc Turley ad nauseum. Yeah.
Found that race riots overwhelmingly turned the public away from the Democrats and toward the political right. So
yeah, that's why the Boogaloo Boys actually instigated a lot of the violence. That's why a lot of them posed as Antifa or BLM and were instigating violence specifically for that reason, because they know that this is 2015.
Obviously,
by the way, May 21st, what is it, 2013? I can't tell. It's a little blurry on my end. That's pre-George Floyd anyways.
The insanity going on in our urban areas is having an effect on Biden's poll numbers. But
why would something a study from 2013 actually affect Biden's poll numbers?
Also,
which kicked Trump's ass.
So we cannot overlook
Trump's ass. Trump's is
just how much the horrific crisis at the border has hurt Biden. A new poll just came out just over this weekend that shows that Biden is absolutely hemorrhaging support at the border. But before we get into that, what do you think?
Oh God, he's just selling shit. All right, I have to sign off. It's after 6. I gotta go to rehearsal. I gotta drive over there. I gotta be there a little bit early tonight so that I can work on some stuff. You guys are wonderful. Thanks for tuning in today. But that's the corner of that's BitChute. That's where all that shit's coming from. And like BitChute in and of itself that's not even close to the horrifying nature of, well, here's an image. That should give you some indication of what look at that. And then there's syringes, and then there's, I guess that's Mao. Yeah. And then Skull and Bones, and of course, I take that very personally, obviously. And the Illuminati and whatnot. The Illuminati, pardon me. These are, the shows that they have on this reply. I don't believe, oh, wait, there was one I wanted to show you. If it's still on here. Maybe it's not. All of these are nuts, but there's a war room. They put their show up on there. Ted Cruz. Most men fighting for custody are making the children more important than God. What? What the hell did... Jesus. I have no idea. Where did 5 billion pounds go? Our current mayor only delivered 3%. Okay. I don't know. 107, my gut instinct is that Timothy Holmes is right on the cash. I don't know. Like, it's all lunacy. There's a bunch of this stuff. But anyways, you have to understand that a bunch of these folks, they're always on there. That's right-wing YouTube. And you can go and look around if you want to. It's gross. And the deeper you click into it, the more disgusted you will be with humanity. It's basically like a dark web portal of, marginal, crazy voices pretending they have an audience. But the ones that are the biggest on there had YouTube audiences and were able to port them over after the fact. So they set up an entire industry side of it for themselves on the bigger platforms, and then drew those platforms, drew those audiences over to these platforms once the anti-vaxxer, psycho assassination insurrection crowd needed someplace to go. So that's, we'll keep an eye on those folks a little bit, as you do. But I have to run off to rehearsal. Thank you guys for joining me today. It was great to see you guys. I will see you tomorrow at basically about the same time, usually 3:30 my time. I'm on East Coast time. So join me tomorrow. And then I have all rehearsals during this week. And then next week is the actual performances. We're getting down to the wire. It's very exciting. And I appreciate you guys tuning in. And thank you guys for the super chats. Thank you for the support. Thank you, Aggie. Thank you, Georgina. Thank you, Jay. Hold on. And thank you, HD Breakout and Robin. And thank you, Michelle, for dropping by. Appreciate that. You're probably watching this later, so thank you. Hi, Laura. Tweety Kid, thank you. And thank you, Benny Loco, for reminding everybody to give a thumbs up, like and subscribe, infotainmentwars.com. And, and I will see you tomorrow at the regular time. All right, you guys are awesome. Thanks so much. Bye.